Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And here we are, another amazing Spiritual Rockstar podcast show. And again, we have an amazing guest here. Her energy is so yummy. She's just so fun. She just will percolate your energy. You'll just be like, I want to hear more from her. Or if not, then you can always leave the podcast after you start hearing her talking. But I'm telling you, I have a feeling you're really going to love her energy. I sure do. And she's a great, great, creative, beautiful, intelligent person that understands like where the alignment is. Where's that alignment with my sales to create that? So we're gonna talk with her. She is an expert in it. I love her videos. I love what she shares about these things. I gain from them myself. So you're gonna love this episode. And we're gonna get started in one moment. Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate Make Money meditation today. Okay, well, Gabrielle, it's such a pleasure to have you here today.
Daniel, thank you so much. So that was by far the best podcast introduction I have ever heard. I have been on a few podcasts, and that is my favorite by a landslide.
All right, cool. Well, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun to just be me, I guess is what I want to say. All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's share more about Gabrielle. Gabrielle is a niche expert and personal brand coach who helps CEOs find their niche, communicate their value, and get their businesses back into alignment. Or into alignment in the first place, maybe, right? Mm-hmm. Gabrielle helps people start businesses and or expand. I'm going to say or expand, pivot their existing businesses with alignment and working in a way that feels good to you at the forefront of her work. So she wants, it's alignment, baby, is the bottom line. All right. Mm-hmm. And know it. Like if you struggle with the niche thing, like this girl's going to help you out big time with that. So anyway, again, just a lot of fun to be with you always. And yeah, I'm always like finding your stories on Facebook, and I love the way you are. You might be doing your makeups, as not always, but like you might do your makeup. Like I remember one like that, like, yeah, like this thing and that thing. Like, I don't know. I find it to be fun. It annoys me with certain people, but with you, everything's fun.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to take that with me. It's always fun. But I appreciate that so much. I try to really show up as, who I am in my authentic self on social media. And sometimes that looks like a download coming to me while I'm doing my makeup, and I have to hop on and share it with my squad.
Yeah. I love that. I guess that's why I love it. It's like, it's not, some people do things in more, it's a stage thing. Well, yeah, I'll be doing my makeup and I do this. It's not maybe so authentic, but you feel very connected, to me anyway, when you're doing whatever you're doing. So, and that's one of your magic things. So we're talking about alignment today with specifically with sales strategy. So what do you mean by aligned sales strategy? Let's talk about that first.
Yeah, that's such a good question, because I feel like when you hear it, some people are like, well, what does that even mean? Mm-hmm. And I find that first defining alignment, and this is how I personally define it. I'm sure there's a billion definitions out there, but the way I see it, and you guys will likely learn through this interview that I like to keep things very simple and in layman terms. It is always being on the path of your soul's journey, right? Being in alignment with your highest self and what you are set out on this earth to do. And so for me, as somebody who specializes that and sees that all the time with my clients, is I can really just see when people are veering off that path, right? Like when their highest self has up-leveled, when they have up-leveled and is trying to push them in that direction, but they want to stay small, they want to stay in that comfort zone, and then the anxiety comes in and the burnout and the stuckness. So, that's how I define alignment. So I always like to start with that, so you can kind of get a sense for what I mean as we kind of chat about this. But when it comes to sales, through my work, I have seen so many people burn out in their businesses, and it came down to one thing, is they were not working in a way that felt good to them, and primarily in sales. And I'll give you a quick example of somebody I was working with earlier this week. She said, you know what, I hate this. Like, I hate social media, and I don't want to build a business off that. And that's all I'm doing is building a business off social media. And I said, okay. And she's like, I'm just burnt out. And I said, well, okay, I hate sales. Okay. How are you getting your leads? Through social media. Well, duh, of course you're going to freaking hate sales. I would too. And so, what we did was really started working through her aligned sales strategy. So I use that example to kind of lay out what it means. It's selling in a way that feels good to you. It is figuring out a way to sell that feels good to you. And that's not always as easy as it sounds, because you really have to hold up that mirror in front of you and say, how do I work in a way that feels good? What does that mean? I find as CEOs, we have to know ourselves on a very deep level, right? To keep ourselves disciplined, to keep ourselves in alignment, to keep ourselves in the zone, and have that self-awareness and have that strong relationship with ourselves. You can't enjoy every single aspect of your business without that. Not that, you're likely going to, but specifically when it comes to sales and the success of your business, you want to make sure that you are selling in a way that feels good to you. So, long-winded answer, and kind of the summary here is, it is figuring out a way to sell that feels good to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to identify all the ways that suck, right? Like,
For sure. Yep.
and one of the things that occurs to me to just share right now that I've been doubling down on lately is when you don't like something, whether it's sales or something else that's going on that you're not enjoying, is to just be really clear about, I don't like this. And then, and then rant about it. Like, I don't like this about it. And then I don't like that. And I don't like it, whatever, everything you don't like. But then, and then let it occur to you, like, okay, but on the other end, what do I like? What do I like? Just in general, what statements come up about what you like? May not even be sales at first, but like, I like it when it's sunny outside. I just take the day off from sales. I love it when, I take a walk in the park. I love it when I'm playing tennis. I love it when I'm just meeting with people. Whoa, okay, we're getting closer to sales, right? I love it when we just go out for lunch, we have a nice meeting, and by the time we're done, we're doing business together. Oh my God, I figured out a sales strategy, right? Like things like that, right? Like, there's so many easy, natural ways of really, I mean, I know I want to hear everything because I want to totally, man, you got this quiz. I just took it, and I don't know, it might be a game changer for me, just even the quiz. Like, I'm really excited to talk about that very soon. And I'm serious. Like, I don't usually do that. I was guided to do it before the show, and now I know why. Like, it's like, whoa, this was really opening my eyes, and we'll get into that in a moment. But like, yeah, there can be so many ways of just realize, okay, I hate this. So then what? Okay, let's get it out of your system. Then what do you love? Just in general. Okay, then and then just see how naturally, like, there is a natural way to do sales. And I know that's how you help people. And that quiz is amazing. And discovering things that may not come into your consciousness instantly in that way, though, that's what's really cool about the quiz. So we'll get into that. So, but yeah, so tell us more about how you've got the quiz we're going to talk about, but like, how do you help people to really get aligned with their sales when they're like, when they are saying things like, I just hate sales. I want someone else to do sales. I hear that all the time. I want somebody else. I just want, even people are successful, I hear that sometimes. I wish somebody else just did all the marketing, and I just want to sit back and just do my work and everything. Yeah. So how do you help people like that more specifically?
The first question I ask them is, how do you best build relationships? And the answer, I learned like right then and there what's going on. So for example, going back to the woman I was just telling you guys about, is how do you best build relationships? In person. I love in person. I used to work in nonprofits. I would sit down at people's table. I would collect these big checks as donation. Okay, how are you selling now? On Instagram, in my DMs with no connection. Bingo. Because what happens is, and why I swear by alignment in your business, is that we fall into the trap of doing what we feel like we should be doing versus doing what we are naturally that comes natural to us, right? Like what comes authentically to us. For her, it was sitting down in person. For some people, it could be behind Zoom, right? Like there's so many ways to sell. And that word in itself really freaks people out, I find, because they're like, oh, I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to be, pushy. Then don't be, right?
Right.
Sales is just having a conversation with somebody. And I always tell people, like, make sure when you sit down for that sales conversation, you already know that you can help them. Because when you have that confidence going in, whether they fill out your application, whether you've sent a couple voice notes or you've talked to them on the phone or met them in an event before, and you have like, oh my gosh, he's struggling with that, right up my alley. Like I was in those shoes. I feel so confident I can help him. When you hop on that call, it is a conversation, right? It is a conversation just like Daniel and I are talking right now. It is very easy and in flow and in your natural state of the gifts that you have, right? You're allowing yourself to be in your own individual flow because you are honoring how you naturally work when you start your sales process by building relationships in a way that you would already naturally do that. Like, and so I always tell people too, if they struggle to answer that question, I say, okay, well, scenario, you go to a networking event. You're by yourself, you're in a room full of people you don't know. How do you navigate that room? Do you go through and you could make your way through that room no problem? Do you kind of hang in the corner and wait for somebody to come to you? Do you kind of look around and see who you energetically connect with and go that route? Or do you avoid that room at all costs? Right? Like there's so many ways to ask yourself that question, but that's usually the first part of me helping them figure out this strategy.
Yeah, it's great. That's part of your quiz too. I mean, so, and what I answered is I usually survey the room and tune into who should I be talking to. I could just get because I'm intuitive, especially. It's really helpful for me, right?
Yep.
And then and then my strategy always is mental. If I were to have a mental strategy, which is more just in flow, but the mental strategy is to find the right people and go deep with them rather than being one of those butterflies that talks to everybody. Hey, here's my card, and blah, 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 running all over the place. That's just, I'm not that person. I mean, I definitely am more that person to want to really connect with somebody and go deeper with them on average than to just make it real quick and then on to the next person. I'm not really, although like on your test, like I put in there that I've got extroversion and introversion both. Um, at the same time, most people would probably say I'm introverted that really know me. They really know me privately. They'd say yeah, I mean, he could be extroverted, but he tends to be an introvert, But it's like that extroversion is really important though. I mean, because I gain a lot of energy. I'm like the person who, when I go to an event, I tend to be, I don't go out and party and go drinking with everybody and everything. So okay, I'm not in that category, but like just in terms of connecting, going to dinner late and staying out, doing whatever together outside of that, I'm usually the first one in, the last one out. Because when I'm at an event and I'm doing now, maybe day 3, 4, 5. Okay, now maybe I'm not that guy anymore because I didn't get enough downtime now, But I was so energized the first few days that I was just constantly going, and probably I still am the first one. Usually the first one, and still at least at a minimum, because it's like I'm just so into it. I really love the connection, but I definitely have to have a certain amount of downtimes for sure. So yeah, I find all this very fascinating. When you talk about like what's the most natural way, like for me, yeah, my first thing isn't to go to a network meeting in the first place, to be honest. But I might go to an event or have a booth somewhere or something like that, maybe. I love doing live events. I love doing virtual events, things like that. I love DMing people. I love DMing.
Yes.
I love to DM people that I know. And sometimes I love to DM people I don't know, maybe to talk to them about being a guest on the show, maybe, or something. Who knows? It might be different reasons why I want to connect with people. But I'm just like so into voice DMs and video a little bit too lately. But I could go on and on. But like, yeah, it's about fine, because a lot of people, if they just looked at me, they'd be like, well, you're basically an introvert. All right, then we're going to do blogging and all this stuff. And it's like, I feel like you're totally missing my extroversion. That is not going to light me up fully. I mean, I'm going to get into it to a degree, but like, no, that's not going to work for me either. So it's really interesting.
It's very personal. It's very customized, right? Like there's no one size fits all. And I think that's with any strategy in your business, right? And Daniel, you sound like me, like an introverted extrovert.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Totally.
can, yep, let it out for like a week or two. And then I need to decompress for at least 3 weeks after that. I go in hibernation mode and that's it. I feel like I'm similar in that aspect. And so, maybe an example for you is like, potentially like maybe an event or an in-person type thing, like twice a year. And then everything else you can host like workshops and go about it that way. And so there's, point being is there's 5,000 ways to do it. It's
Right.
just comes down to you consistently being in alignment with it and honoring how you naturally function. And I love that you love DMing people because I know a lot of people shy away from that. They don't want to be cringy. And there are a lot of cringy DMs out there. We all get them, right?
Yeah.
But they're the DMs or Messenger, wherever you're at. It's a great place for connection. Voice notes is a great place for connection because it doesn't add so much pressure, right? If you're, on video for the first time, it's just, here's my voice, build that trust factor, respond back when it feels good to you. Right. And so point being is there's a million ways to go about it. It's really just figuring out what feels best to you that is going to be least exhausting, because I'm sure for you too, if I had to guess, like reading people's energy, like, I don't know if you like pick up on their energies a lot, if maybe that gets a little exhausting over time. I would imagine it would be.
Oh yeah. I mean, I need a break from everything sometimes. Like if I'm done with doing my business or whatever for the day, and then Deb comes to me, my wife says, all right, I'd love you to do a channeling for me right now. Or I start downloading things. At first I'm like, oh no, I need to calm down. And she's like, why not? It's natural to you or whatever. Like, I think that sometimes she thinks that way. And I'm like, listen, I need even a break from that. Like I need to, it seems really easy for me, but after a while I just need space. Everybody just get out.
Yeah, 100%. You have to decompress.
Yeah.
Like you have to decompress and fill up your cup again and
Yeah.
charge that battery. There's no doubt about it. And I think that's so important when it comes into your sales strategy, because if you're just going at it day in, day out on the sales end, oh my goodness, is it exhausting? Give yourself time to not be so extroverted in your business. I always tell people, because sales, it can definitely be extroverted energy, but there are definitely ways to go about it as well of the introverted realm, because I do know a lot of introverted salespeople as well.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I think probably a good chunk of my listeners are more, there's a good mix that are probably introverted, extroverted, but I don't think actually a lot of very extroverted people listen to my show, but I could be wrong, but I don't think so. And a lot of introverts. So I want to dig into that one for our listeners. So if you are more like the pure introvert, like, listen, the less I talk, the better. Like, but yet they still do want to do healing or coaching or whatever they do. But what are some of the ways? I mean, I've mentioned blogging or whatever, but like, but maybe that isn't for everybody. Some people, so introverts, sometimes I find, and then I'd love to hear what you say, is like, they still might be great with speaking though, because if they're invited and then they get on stage, the introvert's like, whoa, right, here we go now, right? I'm that way with the stage. Like everybody will be like, you didn't seem that boisterous, I was talking to you at lunch, but also you got a stage. Oh my God, where'd that come from? Like a whole different ballgame. So I think, again, it's where we got to get out of our heads about what's right for us and based on our type. But yeah, people that say I'm introverted, I can't even do this marketing sales. I'm not slick. The extroverts have all the advantage. What are some of the things you could say to encourage them?
So for introverts, so when I work with introverts, a lot of the things I see, and they all have the same answer. I say, if somebody, like, what's your ideal way of your sales process going? Well, people coming to me, because it's just really exhausting for me to go out and get people. Perfect. Strong call to actions in every single piece of your content. Build community in your DMs, right? So then you don't have to go out fishing for people. You don't have to constantly be sliding in other people's DMs. Have yours be open, right? Think of your social media as like your house, for example. Let's say your Instagram, your Facebook page, and you're opening up the front door. You're letting people know, hey, please step in. Strong call to actions in your content. Because I know not all introverts like to get on video, even though it is highly recommended just in the way the online world is going, but not everyone loves that. And it's important to honor that. So let's say you're writing, you have a static image and then a post that you're writing. Have that call to action be very strong. For example, right? Let's say mine would be, what is your aligned sales strategy, right? Come into my DMs and tell me, like, what is yours? I'd love to hear back from you. I'll gladly give my feedback. I do that often because I help people with their I help statements all the time on the niche end that I do. Guys, tell me your I help statement. My DMs are open for you. I don't always love sliding into people's DMs. I love when people come into mine, cultivates community, it starts that conversation. So let them know, hey, this is a safe space for you to be. This isn't me going to be jumping down your throat and buy my program. I want to build a relationship with you. My DMs are open for that. I may send you voice notes because it helps me serve you more than typing everything out. But the DMs are a safe space. So that's my deep suggestion with introverts is have people come to you and have boundaries around the time that you're on social media.
Yeah.
Protect your energy. It's a lot of protecting the energy there. Like maybe you check social media DMs from 10 to 2. Those are your hours on. After that, let it be until the next day.
Yeah. Yeah. I do good with people that are probably a little bit better with the marketing, people I know, like letting it wait. The one category sometimes I might slip on sometimes is my clients, right? So
yeah,
what's happening for my client? What's happening? Either I'm excited or maybe I am a little nervous. What's going on with them? I'm like, what's going on? Do you need help right away? Oh my God, like what's going on? But yeah, I mean, definitely the energetic boundaries for empathic, introverted people, which again is a bunch of people listening. Yeah, that's golden. Because then when you honor connection with yourself and with source and all that first, then that's where the magic is happening. And then I would want to piggyback off of what you're saying there too, with like if your strategy is like, no, I mean, it's not just an encumbrance, like I'm just resisting the Facebook lives, which often it is, by the way, but if it is like really like, listen, I just really don't think it's supposed to be for me. Truly, intuitively, deeply, I just really don't think that's my way. Okay, great. Then you need to value it, though. I think that's where people miss out. Is like then you value that. Listen, you can't even find me on a Facebook Live. That's how exclusive I am. Like right. Make it. I always say take whatever you think your weakness is in marketing and sales or anything and turn it into gold. Man, I'm just not like everybody else doing all these Facebook Lives and stuff. Well, they're doing Facebook Lives. I'm like channeling my guides in a deep way and sending infinite blessings to everybody and everything. Like I'm doing my own thing, and that's going to be inspiring to your tribe. It's going to be perfect for your tribe, and it's perfect because it's perfect for you. So I think that's a big part of it. Is just really valuing who you are, like once you know what it is, to value it. Is that what you found too, Gabrielle?
100%. Because if you are doing a Facebook Live and you dread Facebook Lives, your energy is people can smell your energy from a mile away, especially Daniel. Yeah. It's like,
I know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. No one's getting past Daniel. So it's like, you can sense it from a mile away, even if you do not have that intuitive touch, which so many of us do, but say you're not super connected with it. Like, although all of your listeners, I'm sure are, but just giving an example, you can still sense the energy. Energy does not lie. So you really do want to honor working in a way that feels good to you. And so, another example on the introvert front too, is I would recommend not taking a ton of clients too, but owning that, like you said in your message, like turn it into gold, owning that. I only take 3 clients a quarter, let's say. And so, obviously you make sure that your prices are going to reflect the income that you want to make. And these are high-end 3 people because they get your time and that's it. Own that. I only work with 3 people a quarter. So if you want to get onto my roster, like send me a DM, fill out the application, whatever it is, and turn that into your superpower, because it's all in how you position it. And I think too, there's so much around chasing the money when it comes to sales. that will read in your energy as well, right away from somebody on the other end. Like, don't chase the money because it's only going to run further from you. Don't get into that desperate energy of, oh, I need to make a sale. I haven't signed a client in 3 weeks. I'm freaking out. The mortgage is due. That's exactly what's going to come back to you. And I have learned that the hard way, up, down, left, and right. You have to surrender to the outcome.
Yeah.
And trust that who is meant for you will not pass you by.
Yeah, there's a lot of that that's true, because what happens if you give in, again, I don't want to give too many like, oh, always it's like this, but like often if you keep giving in to the fear, oh my God, I haven't got a client in a month or two or whatever it is, and my mortgage is past due again or whatever it is, if you give in and then you do something, you go from into desperation mode to try to get clients. What happens, even if you do gain new clients, it becomes a pattern now. Okay, now you're just going to recreate the same thing. Yeah. Oh my God, now the mortgage is due again. I better get clients. All right. And then you're going to go back to your old ways. You're in the same energy patterns. It's going to be more of the same, generally speaking. Again, I don't want to say any absolutes here, because it depends. If it brings you into your power and alignment, maybe you start transcending it. You say, never again, I don't want to be in this pattern. Okay, that's great. But often we just get in these patterns, and we got to be mindful of that we don't keep going back into that. So instead, what we can do is, Gabrielle, this is where you can give a voice to what do we do then? It's like when we are, so you say honor, like it's coming. But some people say that's way too passive. Oh, well, what do you think? They're just going to fall out of the sky and all that sort of stuff. So what do you say to that? Like, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, if you are actually doing something to show up, yeah, eventually things will come together. But they're not just going to just always drop out of the sky. And if you're only doing that, then you're only going to have so many clients. Like, you're not really probably going to have as many as you want. So that's where like the things you're teaching about how you are reaching out like are so valuable. So yeah, you definitely don't want to come from desperation, come from connection, right? And then once we're coming from connection, it's like, okay, well, what do I like to do? That's kind of the next thing, right? And then sharpening up on whatever you're doing there and being, I don't know, being consistent or inconsistent. I don't know. Where do we go from there?
Yeah. So it is definitely staying consistent with it. And so it's all about consistency. And it's also about understanding that like you create your own miracles. And it's really important to tune into that as you go to, get more sales in your business. Focus on your current clients. Show deep gratitude for those clients, because I cannot tell you how many times I see it. And I used to do it myself before I realized, oh my gosh, I just need 5 more clients. Oh, this is going to be the $25,000 a month or the, whatever it is. And we're so attached to that number, the number of clients, the dollar value number, anything. Appreciate what you have, because so often we overlook showing gratitude for our people, right? That we have, that have invested in us, that are seeing awesome growth, right? And results. So, in my experience, what that sends a message to is that it's back in the desperation energy. I need more. I need more. I need more. Right. And I don't know about you guys, but the universe for me does not respond very well to that. And so it's like, show gratitude for your people. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that I have Gabrielle as a client. Like she Voxered me this morning. This is what she's doing. And just hold space for that each day. Because the more you focus on the clients you have, I see it all the time, the more they come into your experience. So it's that tailored with taking that aligned action, right? But not busting your back over it to the point where it becomes unenjoyable, to the point where it becomes, you're on the verge of burnout. It's not why you're doing this, right? Let's say you focus 2 hours a week on active sales, right? And that is outreaching people, that is doing this, that's doing that. And that's just a hypothetical example based off somebody I was recently working with, but it's like, sometimes it doesn't have to be more than that. Yeah. Allow that to be enough, or else you're going to constantly be on that hamster wheel of needing to do more. And so definitely stay consistent with it, but really keep those reminders on mind as well.
And we have to remember, like, again, the energy that created the marketing machines out there. I talk about these sorts of things all the time, but I think, again, the programming is so strong, we have to keep building awareness. Like, we as coach, healer, trainer people, which is the majority of the audience, and spiritual entrepreneurs that maybe do other things, but most of you guys are coaches and healers and those type of people. And the industry, as far as marketing goes, particularly, came from what? Internet marketers, people that are like, they say crazy stuff to get people to buy something, and they're not, a lot of them anyway, weren't really of the highest integrity. So they're just trying to get the sales, baby. I don't make millions on the internet. And once they found hooks, and the bigger the promise, the bigger the bullshit we put on, the more people will buy. And then, and then after we got their money, then who cares? And some of them will like it, some of them won't. And then hopefully they'll keep moving, and certain percentage, well, they're just running numbers. Like, okay, yeah, 80% of you pissed off. We don't care. 20% liked it and they want more. And it's like, it's like they're just like focused on, on the wise part of that, they're focused on the abundance. I mean, they're focused on, in part, they're like, oh, it doesn't matter. Okay. But like all the crazy stuff they say and would do, and all the crazy rules that we've been given about success, work hard, grind it out. And every time I recently re-experimented with that. I'm like, okay, because I don't buy my own story. I won't buy my own story completely ever. I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and grind it out a little bit more. And what I found is, like, I just start going into lack. My mind just naturally starts to go back into lack, even though I try to stay centered and no, I'm just being productive. And it's like, nope, I'm feeling stressed, and I'm feeling like that's not enough. I'm never going to get to where I want to go, to some degree. To some degree, that little bugaboo's in there then. And then, we've had people, different internet marketers and stuff. I've got this lovely course. If someone's on video, they'll be able to see it. But like, this is what I started with. Maybe you've seen this before, Gabrielle. This wonderful. Awesome. I won't mention her name, on the podcast. That way we'll get more people on YouTube. She's great. I mean, she was huge for me. I mean, she helped to change my business life in part. I mean, she definitely was a contributor. But this person, she says, you got to at least spend 20 hours a week marketing. You got to do it. All these big rules. And it's like, they may or may not be true, folks. Just because some expert that made a lot of money says it's true, it doesn't make it true. It just doesn't. Maybe that was their experience. Maybe they'll even say all their clients it's true with, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. You got to follow your own truth. You got to find your own truth. Not all of you want multi-million-dollar businesses either, quite frankly. I mean, not that you can't have one. I know people that are very lazy and don't do that much and have big businesses, but we don't all even genuinely want, these big machine businesses anyway. I mean, that are producing gazillions of dollars, right? I mean, I think that's another thing to think about too. We're not all looking for that. We're not all looking to be the next Elon Musk or whatever.
You have to define what success looks like for you. But I love what you said too, of like, find your own truth. Like, that's alignment, right? The big powerhouse workhorses out there, their journey is not meant to be your journey.
Right.
Every single one of us has our own soul's journey and purpose on this earth. It's you getting into deep alignment with that. Why were you put here, right? And your intuition is going to constantly guide you to that, to your highest and best self. It could look polar opposite than, the people on there who are doing the evergreen funnels and, claim they make $1 million and then they spend 900,000 on ads. It's like, you just never know. And so, put those blinders on and always turn inward. I'm always teaching my clients that, because I got burned big time. I didn't make money in my business for the first 6 months because I was so focused on buying all of those. Everyone's strategy of how I make $100,000 in a split second, but the reality is their strategies are not meant for you. You have your own individual strategy, and either you find it yourself or you have somebody help you find that, but it is in there. And when you want to get into hustle and grind mode, pause and get into receiving mode instead. Go take a break. Go barefoot in the backyard and sit there for a little bit, right? It's not about working harder. It's about being open to receiving more. That's what it comes down to. And so I have a sticky note for myself that literally says, when I'm tempted to work past my boundaries, I'm going to actually just focus more on getting in receiving mode. I'm going to go drive to the beach. I'm going to go turn off my phone and I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to go listen to, a podcast at the track, get into receiving mode. Cause so often people are so busy grinding away that they're never in receiving mode. So how the heck do you expect to receive?
Right.
So really, everyone listening, I urge you to stay grounded in that reminder. And I say that for myself too, is I ground myself in that almost every single morning now, which has been a new habit for me. But just from implementing that, I mean, you create your own miracles.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen.
Right. That's an Abraham Hicks, right? The receiving mode, right? And I listened, I actually, from my own coach, she said, I listen to this affirmation every morning. Well, maybe I want to try it. And I've been doing it for a while, where guy talks about get into the receiving mode and all this stuff. And, like setting your day, strongly with that is, again, everybody's heard it, but like, however you start your morning, maybe you start your morning playing video games, but maybe that's your perfect alignment,
Yes.
who knows what it is? You got to find it for yourself. Again, these experts says, we took 1,000 mice and we put them through it, got them up at 5 a.m. We made them run around really fast. They sweated, my God, it made their brains grow exponentially. Therefore, that must be right for you. Don't listen to it. Tell you guys, you got to find your own thing. You got to find your own jam. You can experiment with different things if you want to, but don't just take them for verbatim. You got to find your own thing, just like with the marketing, like Gabrielle's saying. Like, I know that. So is, I know, like, it just isn't true. I've tried it too. Somebody comes up with a system. Okay, let me try the system. I'm going to do the same thing they did. Yeah, nope, it's not for you. That's why she has the quiz. The quiz helps you to see who you are. If you're not being you fully, if you're not doing your thing, then it's just not going to work. It just won't work.
That's it. That's just what it comes down to. And like when somebody presents you with a strategy too, this is a reminder that I use in case this is useful for anyone. If you immediately feel any resistance reading through that strategy, that's something in your gut going off. That's like, something kind of feels off here. And then you can go a step further. Is there's a difference? Are you just afraid to get on video, right? Like, let's say it's around video. Are you just afraid, or is there really true deep resistance? And so that's a whole other podcast episode, but it's really something to kind of be mindful of, I would say. Listen to your gut.
Totally. Can we talk about your quiz more now?
Yes, let's talk about the quiz.
All right. So the quiz I took, which is around finding your aligned sales strategy. We're going to put the link in the show notes and everything. Well, first, I just want to we'll talk more in detail about it, but I took it, and it's just a number of questions. It's not that many, actually. It was like 6 or 7 questions. And then it gives you a bunch of information and insights about how to proceed to get aligned with, like, getting into that place where you feel connected with what you're doing with your marketing strategy. So yeah, I did it, and I got so are these different the extroverted sales strategy, is that one of them?
Yes. So that's one of them. And that's funny because on there, it does talk about DMing people and all that. So it's interesting how you said you actually love DMing people. So yep, there's about 4 results that you can get. And so it gives you a really clear basis, and it talks a lot about suggestions on how best for you to find leads. And again, there's some examples there. There's a million examples that you can go off of where it's really important to figure out what works best for you. But there are some solid examples in there for you guys to try. And I'd love for you guys to take it. I hope you find it useful. I'm glad that you did, Daniel.
Yeah, I haven't even gone through the whole thing. Like, immediately, like, I started getting some thoughts about it. So So with the extroverted sales strategy, that's where, so like what it ignited in me was the awareness, and I already do it, but like helped me to say yes to it more, is I love DMing. And then you have all these people say, oh, I hate DMs, I delete everybody with DMs. But I've always told people, but for me, when I do it, even when I do it with strangers, if I want to, I don't always want to do it with strangers, but if I get in the mood, I'm like, I start reaching out to some new people, and I just like to be creative. I like to do my own thing, and yet I have specific focus strategies at the same time. But it's like, okay, so when I do all these DMs, it's like I'm loving on people authentically. I'm not there just thinking like, well, this strictly is about like I'm going to squeeze this person into a strategy session so they'll work with me. Like that's ridiculous. I mean, I know it's more relationship based, connection based. It's like, how can we start establishing some relationship here? If there's a sense of connection mutually here, then what wants to happen with that? And tuning into that and talking to that person about it. Even, hey, I mean, in terms of like, like I got to be careful as a guy contacting women myself, but like, like feeling the energy. One time many years ago, this doesn't happen very often. Every once in a great while, I'll be like, well, I don't know. Are you married? I'm like, yeah, I'm married. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm sure that maybe that happens with women contacting men too and stuff. But anyway, so what I find is that part of my brain still wants to judge it a little bit, because so many people tell me, oh, DMing, people shouldn't DM. People will rant about it on their posts. DMing, I'll kill you, I'll delete you, I'll never talk to you for the rest of your life, you're excommunicated. And I'm thinking like, what's wrong? All I'm doing is saying hello. And I always say no pressure, just connecting. If you don't want to connect, that's fine. I'm just here. I'm not just sending them some posts saying, you want to make millions? Great. Join my webinar. We're going to sell you a bunch of great stuff. And, like, I'm not doing that. I mean, that doesn't feel good to me either. But there's ways of doing things that I think a lot of people don't think about. Like, they don't get creative with. So for me, that gave, like, your quiz empowered me. It like helped me, even if it was like 3% or whatever, but like, maybe
so glad.
that it's like whatever, even 30, I don't know how many percent, but like whatever it is, it's like, wait a minute, yeah, it's okay. Maybe I should do even a lot more DMing, like it brings that, so it helps catapult me to realize, no, that's how you like to do things. It's okay, right?
It is okay. And it's, there's people can tell right away if it's kind of like a sleazy DM or if it's a genuine, hey, I'm looking forward to connecting with you. Right. Mm-hmm. And what I find too, is if you also kind of want to beat around that, find somebody who's asking a question and you can answer their question in DMs. Hey, Gabby, I saw that you were asking this question in this Facebook group around how to tap into your intuition. And so I do that for a living. That's what I help people with. And I have some awesome suggestions. If you don't mind, I'm going to send them in voice note just so that it saves me having to type it all out. But I'll send over some voice notes and would love to hear back to see if this helped, if it resonated with you. Send some voice notes, build that trust. I usually always ask permission, like in my first message or so. And then usually those people are so grateful for an in-depth answer. You start building a relationship with them.
Okay.
Maybe they keep asking you questions. How do I do that? How do I do that? You know what? It's right up my wheelhouse, what you're struggling with. Do you want to get on a Zoom and talk about how I could help you?
Right.
Boom, discovery call, right? But it's natural to you because that's what you do. They're open to receiving that response. Right. Segues from there.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and there's all different ways to do it, and then just seeing how it works. I think, a lot of times it's more natural for me to have somebody have a network meeting maybe with me, or do something like you just said, or maybe they become a podcast guest. Maybe we talk about, maybe promoting each other could be a possibility, or who knows, sometimes I go straight to the chase. Hey, I feel like I'm meant to share this gift of energy scanning I do. I love it, no pressure. I'm just feeling guided to offer it to you. And that's going to even piss some people off, but I don't care. I don't care. I mean, I don't mind that. That's not me. That's them. Like, okay, delete, quit listening. No big deal. I don't go on and on about it. I just say no pressure, no pressure. I'm really, really cool about it. And then however they respond is fine, but if I felt like I wanted to do it, I do. But if I don't feel like doing it, I'm forcing myself to do it. That's a whole different ball game. Like, then it's not as likely to be as successful. Maybe it will be if I do thousands of them, but then you go into that grind thing, which sucks. And it's, connection is where the magic happens in this industry, especially. Yeah.
For sure. And then you build resistance from doing it when you don't want to, and you do it 1,000 times and you're forcing it. It's just an ugly cycle. And, I do the same thing when I see somebody's like, I help statement or their niche, I will. And if I feel called, if my gut is like, help them, I always lead with impact in those messages. I will send them a lot of messages of, hey, I see this is my suggestion. Here's who I am. I really hope that was helpful. Just leave it at that. Some people respond. I've definitely gotten clients that way. Other people don't even answer. Cool. That's fine. But I honored my gut that said, hey, that person may like to hear from you. And that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Right. Right. Like one of the ways I fill my events is just by reaching out to people I love. I mean, there's always, and then how can you, but that's limiting. Where's the fresh blood? They have friends, yeah. You've got a stronger relationship with you. You can say, hey, do you know other people that might want to attend this event as well, or whatever? So that, that's a strategy I use to fill my events is I enjoy doing the DMs anyway. So then why not, right? And then I've got that I love doing Facebook Lives. By the way, I did it at first. I felt super stupid and awkward for about the first 100 of them. And then eventually it becomes natural. I think a lot of times people don't realize something that feels like a disaster and you're totally unnatural with can become natural. So you gotta be careful not to discount something too quickly either. Like,
I agree.
Okay, maybe I could come to love this. Maybe I ought to give it a try. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So anyway, definitely check out the quiz. I'm really looking forward. She's got a whole page worth of stuff here. It looks like there's a video to watch too. And I just know that she's really generous with information and supporting people. So I'm looking forward to what she has to share for me based on my type and helping me tap in from that place, from my intuition even, to get new insights like, oh, wow, what if I did that? Or like what you just said, like, what if you do 2 live events a year and then the rest are little workshops? And like just little ideas like that can make a big difference for people, so definitely do what you can to connect more with Gabrielle, because she might have I know she's one of those people. She has a magic answer quickly for people, like where you're struggling, you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. And also Gabrielle's like, oh, I don't know, like, okay, did you take the quiz? All right, let's talk about it. Let's look at this. Let's look at that. All right, yeah, okay, basically I'm getting this and that. How does that feel? Oh my God, that feels so good. Why didn't I think of that? That's, am I right, Gabrielle? I know I am, but
I will say that my superpower in my business is my intuition. Is I have the ability to see when somebody is working out of alignment, and I can smell it from a mile away, and I call it as it is right there. And then, so yes, it's funny. I can do it for people all day, but when it comes to me, I'm like, I can't do this myself. I need somebody else to help me do it too. So, we all do it to one another, but I think it is always important to have that person, in your back pocket to be able to help get you right on track again.
Yeah. Totally. So, make it easy on yourself. Take the quiz to get started. That's really safe. Start, and then contact Gabrielle if you're inspired to as well. So we put the link in the show notes, and then is there an actual URL that we can give them to type in if they don't see it in the show notes?
Yes. So it'll be on my website as well, but it is I don't have the URL in front of me, but it is a quiz, and I can get it in 1 second. But yes, it's also on my website as well, or will be on my website. I'm launching a new one shortly.
Which is GabrielleLaura.com.
Correct.
GabrielleLaura.com. So definitely can find it there. And also we'll put the specific link for it in the notes too. Okay, awesome. Great. All right. So this is where time of show where I like to go ahead and just maybe share a couple of downloads with my guests. You ready to receive today?
Oh, I'm ready, Daniel. Let's do it.
All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what's going on. What's coming through today. They're just saying bigger containers, so that So the container might be a little more narrow than it wants to be right now. So it's just like they're wanting the container to open up more for you to serve people. I actually am going to vibe like you could be really good at bringing in more people at lower price points, like those starter kind of products and stuff like that. Maybe a $27 thing comes to mind. Maybe it's around aligning with sales strategy, or maybe it's niche, right? Something like that. And I'm just getting like this sense of first energetically opening the container, and then how you're reaching those people. I'm not getting directly, but I'm just getting there, like open your energy container as much as anything. I'm already trying to go to the strategy, but
Yeah, right.
I just try to get there as fast as possible. But anyway, so I just want to share that real quick, and then let's see what else is coming through. I'm getting some, it's like all the sales stuff because we're talking about it, right? So it's like focus more on repeat buyers, like getting more repeat buyers. They're getting them buying more, maybe more. They're like buying more. Like I see them wanting to buy extra, but maybe you're not offering enough. So you could be offering more to the people that have already bought something that maybe are not, I hate to use the word neglect, but that's the word that comes to mind. Like maybe we're neglecting those opportunities to take advantage of those more for not just for you, obviously, but for your clients. You have more value to share with them. That's what I'm hearing. So, okay, let's see what else is coming through. Third thing. Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just I just give you like a reminder, like, yeah, they're like the intuitive fun vibe is for you. They are showing me, like you said, with the beach, and that man, that you could trust that you can trust that a lot because like many people, like I just see you just totally going into your divine CEO mode, like on that beach. Like,
Yeah.
like it's like, yep, I got it all dialed in right here. And you're really anchor and ground that in that space. So that's an amazing an amazing reminder to give you,
I love that.
strengthening of that. Yeah,
It's so funny because I was like considering doing some like lower ticket type options for my community. I'm rolling out a whole new website. And so I was going to do like some lower ticket, like under $97 offers for people who aren't ready for like the long term.
there we go.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that often happens here. I'll say something, or like I'll say, you're gonna write this book or whatever. Like, yep, yeah, I'm just about ready to put it published. Or yeah, I am opening that school. Wow, that's interesting, or whatever.
That's
Like
so funny.
one of the things that happens on the show. So it's fun. If people want to check me out, you can go to yoursacredpurpose.com. There's opportunities to connect with me in different ways. I've got also the energy scan consultation. You can fill out an application to meet with me. Only if you're ready to rock, though. All right. So if you're not, don't worry about it. I do have a free meditation that you can take advantage of. The Meditate Make Money meditation opens up your energy, starts giving more energy alignment, opens the chakras and all that kind of stuff. And then start getting your downloads, your guidance from the connection. And yeah, definitely when we talk about receiving mode before, it puts you in receiving mode. And somehow, people are using it consistently that I've heard back from. They're like, yeah, just keep making more money, listen to that meditation. And I even had a person that, reaches a good number of people. She says, I want to put it in my program. I want to put it right in there. So it's got to be something to it, right? Okay, so check it out at yoursacredpurpose.com. So, all right. So I always like to give my guests the last word. So, Gabrielle, any last words for the audience today?
I appreciate you so much inviting me on, Daniel, and everyone listening who's considering working with Daniel, please do, because he has helped me a lot in my business. So I highly, highly recommend his guidance. And I thank you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Gabrielle. Such a delight to have you on. I deeply appreciate you and your gifts and what you've got to share constantly. You bring such like confidence and energy to people, and you help people to have that. And because you've had your own insecurity like we all do. And yet you know how to get in that mojo energy though, and you know how to transmit that energy to other people. So thank you so much for everything you shared today, for this amazing quiz, and thank you for what you're doing in the world. I'm so grateful we've had you on today.
Thank you.
All right, and for our listeners, keep on tuning in, and we'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Goodbye for now. Listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.